So, welcome to another edition. This is episode 4 of Chippy Tee.
Well, it's episode 5.
Is it episode 5?
Yeah.
Right. So, welcome to another episode of Chippy Tee. This is episode 5 with me, Tony Palmer, and
Danny from Flipping Sweet.
perfect. We are getting so slick at this now.
We are almost professional.
Yeah. So, it's just a nice, light-hearted look back at what has happened this week. Not always screen print related, but we try and keep it on that track. But, if you've listened to us before, we do go off on tangents just a little. So we're going to start the week, the day exactly as we normally do, when I throw right back to Danny. How's your week been, Danny?
Well, it's been okay. We've had a few situations. We've had builders round. And I say we've had builders round. We might as well have had builders round. Next door's had roofers smashing roof to bits and effing and blinding and screaming, and they've had dance music on all day for the past couple of days.
Oh no.
So, screen printing wise, all has been good, but by heck, it's been an headache with all that going on. And to top it off, to the icing on cake, I heard a big loud bang. A ton of rubble fell from my ceiling, landed in all my ink containers that I had open for the job I was printing at the time. And the ironic thing, a couple of weeks ago I smugly said, I've moved all my inks upstairs, it's going to be so much more efficient. If I hadn't done that, it wouldn't have been fine. But I've lost a couple of pots of ink. So
only the pots that you're actually using, because you do put lids on everything, don't you, Danny?
I do, yes. So it was just what I was using. I had a tub of white open and a couple of colours that I'd pre-mixed, and now it's somebody Instagrammed me to say cookie and cream, which is exactly what it looks like.
And of course, we can't let this week go by without mentioning the disaster, the global emergency that was the warmest day in Britain. How did you cope in your little sweatbox? Were you just down to your little thong?
Oh, absolutely. Start bollock naked. No, not quite. Not quite, but yeah. It was rough. There was a couple of days where I got towards the end of the day and I was just utterly exhausted, and I just thought, I just couldn't carry on.
Yeah,
It
really
nearly properly stopped me printing. I don't like to be soft about these things. I just grit my teeth and get on, but yeah, this past couple of days has took biscuit a little bit.
It's when you sort of think, did I really pick this profession to be in?
Oh, I know. You start to question it in summer.
Because pretty much everything we do has some sort of heat output, whether it's a flash or drying screens or a drying room or a tunnel dryer itself kicking out heat. There's no escaping it. I mean, in the winter, we are the smuggest little bitches in the world. Because we're still going to work in shorts and a tank top, and we're like, look at us, yeah, you're all right there with your woolly jumper on, you're shivering. I'm going to be printing shirts next to 160 degrees all day. But boy, when it's like it was over this last couple of days, it's tough.
I mean, it doesn't help that our shop, it's where I print, it's like a loft space. So all the heat rises into this loft space anyway, and then we've got a poxy little window. It can't be more than a metre square. In fact, it's definitely less than a metre square. And it only sort of half opens. So any type of ventilation we get goes through there, obviously. And I might as well just not bother. And the other thing as well, I'm too scared to put like a bloody fan on. Because I don't want to, after the old situation a few weeks ago where we undercured some shirts, that's it. There's no fans going on in this room now. I'm just going to stick it out.
No,
I'm not taking my chances.
For the health of the shirt, you actually you stood there dripping in sweat. Well, you're a true warrior.
This is the grit and determination we put into every shirt.
Oh wow! What a strap line. Get your shirts printed by me. There might even be a little bit of my bodily fluid in it.
God, that you say that was a genuine concern. It's a certain point of the past few days, I am dripping. I mean, my forearms and my hands, and you've got to pick up shirts, especially when they're white. The job we were doing was 6 colour, beautiful print on white shirts, but at a certain point, I was getting scared to pick them up. I was having to rag my hands down all the time and my forearms, and
I
yeah,
was
it was
putting
getting a bit
gloves
much.
on, yeah, putting gloves on just to pick shirts up.
Yeah, well, I didn't, but maybe that was a idea I should have had, but I didn't. But yeah, it's you joked about it, but genuine concern at one point.
Yeah, you don't want to stain white shirts, no.
No, that's the worst thing. We once had some shirts. Somebody once asked us to print on. This is going way back, and it was on a heat press vinyl. Oh, was it heat press vinyl? No, I'm lying to you. Somebody asked for some shirts screen printing, and at the time we'd do all, and they said, "Oh, I've got these shirts. Can I bring them in to print on?" We printed on them, run them through dryer, and then when they came out of dryer, underneath the armpits had these big brown stains when they came out of the dryer. And I said, "Have you wore these? Have you had deodorant on them or something?" And he was like, "No, I swear." I'm like, "You bloody did, because whatever you had on those armpits is showing up now."
Oh, minging.
We don't take people's shirts anymore.
No. Make sure they take them out of a bag.
Yeah.
Out of a plastic bag, not a sports bag.
Yeah, not a shopping bag.
Yeah.
How's your day been? Where have you been? Well, how's your week been? Should I say?
Well, on the 2 hot days,
Yep.
I were over in Manchester, and looking at the weather report, it said that Manchester and Yorkshire were both going to peak at this heat.
Yeah.
So, typical. I'm going to be in a shop that's got digital and screen and hard goods, which is like pens and pencils and rulers and stuff.
Oh, right, yeah.
So,
promotional type stuff.
Yeah, and there must have been 8 dryers in this building.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh God, this is going to be horrendous. But do you know what? It was
Not
actually
too bad.
all right. No, it stayed around 28, 29 degrees, which
That's workable.
You go outside and it's actually warmer. I thought, oh,
Yeah.
got away with this here. And I mean, there was one small room upstairs on a mezzanine with digital in there, and they were just muffed in. They were really hot. But actually, where I was, it were warm, but it's. I've certainly had warmer, and it wasn't nowhere near like your loft. Put it that way.
No. I reckon we were knocking on. At one point, I put a post up having a little whinge, and I said it was. I said it's at least early 40s. Yeah. I reckon we got close to 50, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I think about it. Yeah, it was.
There's no upper limit,
No upper limit.
So legislation-wise, there's no upper limit.
I'm having deja vu again, you know me.
Have I said this again? Have I said this before?
Yeah. At what point, you often get asked, at what point does it get too hot that we get to go home?
Yeah. Yeah, there is an upper limit. So I'm sure every printer in the world got asked that in the last 3 days. It was like, it's too hot to work. Have a drink of water, you'll be fine. Keep loading.
Well, now that we're run by snowflakes, I won't be surprised if next couple of years if there is an upper limit.
Yeah, well then how would you work in like laundries and foundries and things?
Yeah, I mean, Philip, I had a whinge, but I've got a mate who owns a coffee shop, and she was definitely in hotter conditions than I was. So, if we're gonna go by that rule, we're gonna not what's gonna be up and all summer, is it? So
no, we do like a whinge though, don't we? In England,
that's what we all.
And we like to whinge about something we've got absolutely no control about, like the weather.
That's what we do best, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Anywhere else, it wouldn't even make the headlines, but it wouldn't even make a buy news. But
no.
In England, it's like top news story. I never saw one positive story about it, and I thought a positive story would have been ice cream sales are up, sales of fans are through the roof, pub beer gardens are full. Some positive twists on. Hey, we're going to get some nice weather. Go out, enjoy yourself. Get to a beer garden. The pub landlords are like, yeah, this is the best weekend we've ever had. Didn't get nothing. All we got was, Armageddon. World's going to end.
Nothing sells like fear.
This is what killed the dinosaurs and all that.
I don't know. No,
as far as screen print's concerned, my week consisted of, I've been training and consulting this week, so not really got my hands dirty on a press, although I have jumped in a little bit and used a few different processes. Like I said, this place is promotional, so they're using what you and I would probably refer to as vinyl inks.
Vinyl. Oh yeah, I get you.
So vinyl, sort of like the thing you would print on graphics, paper and
Yeah,
board and
quite
sticky
quite solvent
stickers.
based.
Yeah, all solvent based there.
Yeah.
But they were also using a water based print from our favourite manufacturer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the one that cures at 110.
Oh right, yeah.
So
Code name 110.
see if this strikes fear into you like it does me. Nylon drawstring bags.
Oh yeah, 100%. Anything that's not cotton.
I'm still scarred. I'm still scarred from Radio 5 Live. Radio 5 Live, this is 1992 or something. And I had to print some nylon raincoats for the presenters. It was about 500 of them, so it can't have been just
Yeah.
presenters. It must have been a giveaway.
Yeah.
Three colour logo: white, purple, and magenta. Looked like the easiest thing in the world to do. Left chest and back. No
Yeah.
problem. It drove me insane. It kept me awake, and it was Nyla bag. I tried to flash it, didn't work. I ended up printing the white base on 6 on a hand carousel, leaving them for 2 hours to dry on their own. Then printing the magenta on 6, leaving it to dry on its own. Then printing the purple, leaving it to dry. And it took me about a month to print these 500. And it mentally scarred me. Like when you touch fire when you're a kid and you think, I'm not touching that again.
Yep.
It was that for me. Nyla bag. It's sort of like you still actually go, oh shit, no, not Nyla bag. And when they said, we do like 80% these nylon bags and some non-woven stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh shit, have I done another one where I've opened myself up for some crap? This will be third week on trot if I have.
And did it go successfully in the end?
Yes. Much to my surprise. Just, I know it's a bit cliche and a bit corny. This is what I love about this industry. 32 years in, right, and I've got this job, and I'm thinking it's going to be an absolute arse. And as it turns out, it was beautiful, and it ran.
Yeah.
I won't say it ran sweet as a nut, because that would be a little bit of a highlight reel version, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because it was water based, and it was the 2 warmest days of the year, so we had those associated problems.
Yeah.
But as far as flashing it goes, and as far as curing it goes, no dye migration, nice and opaque, highish mesh counts. I was really, really impressed.
I mean, if your ink's curing at 110, that sort of solves the main issues with any type of nylon or
Polyester base, yeah.
Polyester base, yeah. Dye migration, flashing. Oh god, we did a job of probably the same type of bags a lot years ago, and this is when I had the old workhorse, and I only had one tote bag palette, and it was 3 colours, so it was a white base, and I think it was like green and blue on top, and very similar story. Only it wasn't 500. It felt like it for me though. And we was obviously flashing it, and then I was moving it back, and then I was waiting for it to cool down, and then I'd put my next colour on top, and then I'd flash it and do it again, and that, like you say, that was my Frosty Jacks down on beachfront, couple of litre cider, getting pissed in my early teenage years, vomiting all over the place. I can't smell that shit anymore. Like I would vomit on sight.
Never to touch Frosty Jacks ever again. White Lightning, I think it was.
It's just like an instant reflex, and those nylon bags give me the exact same reflex.
I feel you. They are now my Frosty Jack White Lightnings. Yeah,
I've got to feel a bit uneasy now.
Yeah, I was surprised. It was good to see that there's still some solution around there. We're still learning. This war. 3,000 of these bags.
Yeah.
So 4 colours, flash after every colour. So, right at the very beginning you're thinking this is going to be a right shitter. But actually, no, it ran like a dream. The guy that were running it had come into printing a month ago, and he was an agency worker.
Bloody hell.
And he was
That's not bad going.
It's not, is it? So that tells you the sort of level of expertise that you needed to run this job. He'd had some good training, but and not from me. And then when I got there, I was like, oh, Jesus, they're throwing you in deep end here, aren't they? 3,000 of these. But no, pleasantly surprised. Just goes to show there's some solutions are out there still.
It also goes to show how trainable autos are. I imagine if I'd have told, if
You've got so much auto envy, it's untrue.
It's all I ever talk about, isn't it? But if that same fellow had come into my shop and I'd have chucked that job at him, he'd have quit.
Yeah.
He'd have quit there
at 10 o'clock. Yeah. He'd have had a go at it, and then by 10 o'clock he'd have gone, no, I can't do this. This is crazy. Yeah. Why are you taking this job on? You'll never make any money on this job.
To be fair, I think I would have quit as well. I think I'd have quit now. If that job came in my emails, we wouldn't have done it. We wouldn't have took it.
No.
Not on a manual.
I think I'd have struggled on a manual, but even on an auto, I'd have been looking at it and going, well, I've got to do it plastisol because I can't do it nylon bag. If I use plastisol, I'm going to have to put some sort of hugger catalyst in there, to make it stick to the nylon. Because I've got to get it to cure below 140. 140 is the temperature that polyester dye gets pissed off.
Yeah.
And starts to agitate. And it were a white base underneath everything. So I'm thinking, this is just not going to work. It's going to be a nightmare. I've only got a 4-colour press.
Yeah. Do you put a dye block on it?
No.
No. Just catalyst.
No, didn't do anything. Just straightforward ink, straight out the tub. All I kept doing was spraying water on it. That squirty bottle, the plant spray you get from B&Q, on my best friend all day long.
We've got one of them here, but most of it just ends up all over my face to try and cool down a bit.
No, it were a good exercise in printing water-based in heat, so that were good. We kept taking the ink out and refreshing it with water and keeping it nice and fluid. But it ran lovely. So I'm sort of like, I'm doing this week as a good thing. I've not had a mare. I've not had a nightmare. I've not had a shitty customer. I've not had somebody I've let down this week. Top of the story is, I've had a good success this week.
Starting on a positive.
Yeah, there we go. Starts with week, always good.
I tried to bring it down, but Tony pulled it back.
I saw you pulling it down with your sweaty fingers all over them white gill down. No, I'm not letting you. No, we're going with a good news story today.
Oh dear.
So that went well. Downside, I don't think I've got really much of a downside this week. No, everything's really good. Everything's absolutely awesome with the world. Sun's shining. Well, it's not now. It's pissing it down now. Our summer only lasts 3 days. It's never the same 3 days, and it's never 3 days together. But
no.
Right. So this week's sort of thing to ponder.
Thing to ponder.
It's a couple of things, but they're tied into one. If you had £1 million to spend on screen print equipment, what would the first thing you'd buy be? You've already got your auto.
Oh, I've already got an auto.
You've already got it. What's the second thing?
Auto reclaim.
Auto reclaim. It's that high up the list.
Oh yeah. Well, I have genuinely had this thought, and the only reason that it's not an option for me is because, so basically I thought automate the screen room before I automate the print press, and I've often sort of thought, is that a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I think if you automate the screen room,
what's your thought process though? How many screens a week do you make, or a day?
Well,
I'll rephrase that. How much time do you think you spend in the screen room?
At the minute, I'm spending a couple of days, which is too much.
So
that's 2
percentage-wise,
days away from print.
Percentage-wise, if your total time spent at the shop, what percentage is spent in the screen room, not printing?
Oh, a good, could be close to 30%. I would say 30.
I can see then that automating the screen room would give you some benefits, yeah. So auto reclaim's right up there as sort of number one.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if I had £1 million, price don't come into it. In real life, I'm going to get an auto. But, because it's going to cost a hell of a lot more than an auto to automate a screen room. But in a fantasy scenario where I've got £1 million, I'm going to get auto reclaim.
So we need to do fantasy print shop then, don't we?
Fantasy print shop.
Fantasy
an
print
auto
shop.
claim.
Yeah.
One of those little screen car wash thingamajigs. An auto coater, which I wouldn't say is completely out of reach. I know they're a few quid.
Is it high up the list though? Is that we've got to work down the list now in priority? So obviously you've got your auto and your dryer done, finished. So number 3, auto reclaim. So that's gonna clean the ink off and strip the screens. Yeah.
Yep. And then I think to follow up, auto coat.
Okay. What's the main benefits you see with an auto coat?
Consistency and less labour.
Is it less labour though if you've still got to stand there and put the screens in? Which
all you're going
to do is watch it coat, aren't you? Instead of actually holding the coat yourself, you're just going to have somebody else hold it.
It's less labour intensive. But it's so much more
reading manuals.
I'm just lazy. I tell you what would be last on my list, because I hear it is a world of problems. Direct to screen. It looks amazing. It sounds all good, but I hear it comes with its. I hear it's a bit tricky.
It can be. It can open up a new set of problems that we didn't know existed, but it can solve a lot of inconsistencies.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned your large format print machine last week.
Yeah. Same type of thing.
If you don't use it every day, if you don't look after it properly, if you don't run the cleaning cycles, then it can be an absolute pain in the arse. And the only solution is to change the head, which is thousands of pounds.
Yeah.
Well, just use that same mentality on a direct to screen, which is basically a printer, whether it prints wax or it prints inkjet. It's still the same sort of theory behind it.
Yeah. Digital head.
Yeah, it's a digital head that we're pushing a liquid through, or a wax.
Yeah.
It gets complicated with wax, because it starts off as a solid, and it ends up as a liquid, then it ends up as a solid again, so it gets complicated.
Yeah, it's something I can only dream of.
What about an auto developer?
An auto developer, right? You'll have to explain that one to me. What do you mean by an auto developer?
So you stick your film on, stick it in the exposure unit, take your film off, and then take it to a washout booth and wash it out. Oh, are you a dipper? Have you got a dip tank full of water?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have a dip tank full of chemical, and I have a dip tank full of clean water.
Clean water to pre-soak your screens.
Yeah. I mean, it just literally drops out.
I've got to be honest, I'm going to come clean with you now. I only saw that about 5 years ago. And I've been doing this a long time, but I only saw it about 5 years ago. And I thought, what's that for?
Right.
What an absolute waste of time that is. But the results I've seen are good. But for me, it's 25 years too late, so I can't change. I can't go back to it. I can't go to that now because I can't see the advantage, because I've got the soaking with the gun down to a T, because I'll soak with the gun, then go back and image the next screen.
Yeah.
And I'll do it that way.
You've got a system.
Yeah, so for me, I can't see where it would gain me anything, but I have seen really, really good results.
It takes the harshness of blasting it. Then again, you shouldn't really blast it, but you know what I mean. Even if you're using a garden hose, there's a certain amount of pressure.
Do you use pressure washer with it on power, or do you just use a garden hose?
No, I just turn the power wash off, so it's just spurting water. You know what I mean, like a garden hose type of level. But if I take a screen out of the exposure unit, stick it in washout booth, give it a rinse, sit back and wait, give it a rinse in another 30-40 seconds, and keep doing that, until the images, which is perfectly fine, it works.
Yeah.
Whereas I can stick it in a bucket of water for 30
you can go
seconds.
Do something else.
Yeah, I can be getting my next screen ready, and then literally that screen comes out of dip tank, and you rinse it over in a second. It's just gone. It rinses
falls out,
every bit out. You're not working at a corner, or you know what I mean. It's just like gone, just melts. And I just find even your edges are, for me anyway, from my experience, you just get a crisper edge on your
Yeah,
design.
you
You don't get any sawtoothing or anything like that.
it's a technical, the emulsion's still soft on those edges, and you use any sort of power or force, you blow those edges away from, and you follow the mesh pattern. Then that's where your sawtooth comes from.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, this is why.
absolutely, it works. It definitely works. I don't fit into my system, but that's just because I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah, but you know what? What you do works as well. It's just everybody's way of doing it.
I've seen a different version of that, which was, it sort of took me by surprise. It was, I think it was over in the States, and they took it to the washout booth, and they put the screen to the left-hand side, and they didn't do anything. Then they brought the next screen, put that to the right-hand side, and then it turned a tap at the top. And what it did is it opened up two nozzles above, right in the roof of the washout booth, and the screen's just sat there.
Whoa, like a shower.
Like a little shower, like a
That's
little
amazing.
sprinkler system. And they just got sprayed while he went in and imaged another two screens. By the time he came back, they'd been soaked so well that again it just fell out. And I thought, what a great little idea! If you're not on a water meter.
Yeah. One of my print shops, when I was back in my old bootleg days,
We
got in Metallica days. We had we moved into a real big unit with a big glass front, and it was a couple of 1,000 square feet, and it had, in that unit, it had a shower room, a bathroom, and that turned into my screen washout booth.
I got a customer only last week I went to, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and having heard that, maybe I could have tried that. Just didn't shower on, leave them all sat there.
Just leave it.
I destroyed that room. I got in serious trouble when I left that unit. They had to get a clean up crew to go in and clean it up, and it was the same clean up crew that turned up to murder scenes. The same company.
And they said they'd never seen it as bad.
Yeah.
Your emulsion stained shower.
Yeah. Oh dear.
The auto developer is basically usually two screens. You put it in, close the door, program it so that it does all that. It does the pre-soak, it does the develop at a prescribed distance and pressure for every pass.
Right.
So there's no variance whatsoever. So in other words, once you find what works, the program that works for the mesh, you don't have to check that the edges are out because you know they're always out.
Right.
So it's unattended developing. It's like an automatic jet wash.
I'm so confused. That just sounds like so. Right. You expose your screen.
Yeah.
And you stick it in this developer.
Yeah.
And it rinses out the image.
Yeah. So it's a moving jet wash from the
Right.
front and the back at a prescribed pressure and speed.
Oh, I see. So it's just super consistent and easy on the.
Everything's consistent. There's no need to have a skilled guy with a good eye for detail checking your developed screens.
Right.
He just, the machine does it all. And once you've set the parameters and you press button 77 mesh, and it just develops it for the settings for a 77. Then you've got a 43 button, and it develops it for a 43.
Oh wow, God, that's high level. That's super high.
22 grand, something like that.
I've never seen one. I've never even heard of it.
They've been around for a long time. The American company M&R came up with a digital screen room video about, I bet it's about 7 or 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
And that really transformed everybody. Went, Jesus, one guy does 400 screens in an 8-hour shift, and we can watch him do it. They did a video of a time lapse of him doing 400 screens in one shift.
Bloody hell.
And it was like, wow, that's imaging, coating, developing.
Well, we'll stick that on my list then.
Yeah.
We'll have one of them.
Just the one, yeah.
So what we've got an auto developer, an auto coater, and a car wash.
Car wash,
yeah. I'm buzzing with all three of them. I'll be honest, I don't reckon I've got much change. after me auto press and my tunnel.
Let me see. If you buy the super duper, absolutely, we'll cook your dinner and give you a, then you're looking at probably about 100 grand for that one. Then the one down from that, you haven't got an imaging device yet.
No.
So the one down, then the autocoat is about 2120. Then the developer 25, let's say 145. What else did we have? Coater, developer, reclaim. What else? Was that
it? Coater, developer, reclaim. Yeah, that's all I've settled on so far.
You're only up to about 150 grand.
Oh well, buzzing.
You've got loads to change.
I'll just go all log. Get me in a little. Would I go for it? What do we call it now? I'll tell you what I've seen actually that look quite cool. Have you seen those exposure units that? Maybe I've made this up. You don't even print. You don't. It's not. Shit, the word's gone out my head.
What is it laser to screen?
That's it. Yeah. So
laser
you don't even put a film or print the image on. The laser does it.
So I explain this. There are 3 phases, I think, to putting an image on a screen. Phase 1 was printing the dark shadow of a film, which is the positive. Phase 2 was getting away from the film carrier and writing a dark shadow directly onto the emulsion. That's direct to screen.
Yep.
And phase 3 is LTS, or laser to screen, which uses rapidly turning on and off LEDs to only expose the screen in areas where you want to block. So in other words, it turns off very quickly in the areas that you want to wash out. So it writes with laser, if you like. So it writes with LED. So it creates a projected pattern of light and only exposes screens where you program it to.
Yeah.
If you look on my Instagram, there's a video of that.
Right. That's probably where I've seen it.
It might be where you've seen it, yeah. I got a chance to play with one over in America to test its pre-registration skills and stuff, and I'm wholly convinced that this will, if we were still doing this in a year's time, people will be all over this LTS by now.
So it's not quite because I haven't seen much of it. I've not seen it in print shops. A lot of them use it wax.
Do you know
direct
why?
To screen.
Do you know why you haven't seen it? Guess how much it is?
$500,000.
Well, the technology has been around in the point of sale industry for at least 15 years. And when you're looking at the point of sale stuff, then it's probably $250,000 to $500,000.
God.
But the t-shirt side, being the poor relation, remember, that poor cousin that turns up at a wedding in smelly old clothes. That's the t-shirt printing in the whole printing family. It's about 110, 120 grand.
All right.
Still expensive. Yeah, is that all?
I mean, if you've got £1 million to play with,
you've got plenty of your budget for that one.
All right. Well, I'll have a laser.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good thing. In fact, I've got a friend in Leeds with a print shop, and about 12 years ago, so it's a shit of a long time ago.
Yeah.
There was a rumour going around that he'd got this new fancy machine in his screen room. And I'm like, I rings him up. What have you got? I'm not telling you. Don't be a dick. Come on. What do you mean you're not telling me? Don't be a dick. He says, no, I'm not telling you. Well, why not? I don't want you to copy me. So I'm not going to copy you. I'm just really nosy. What have you got? I can't tell you. Well, what does it do? Well, it uses light to write an image onto the screen instead of a film. I'm like, wow, that's like Captain Picard. That's awesome. What's all that about? Let me see it working. He went, no, you're not coming in. So, come on, just don't be an arsehole. Come on, just show me it. I want to see it. I'm not going to buy one. I just want to see it. No, you're not looking at it. And so to this day, I've still not seen it. I didn't know what it was. I mean, I've worked out now what manufacturer it was and how much he paid for it. But it's still going strong. And he says it transformed his business of making screens. It just turned into such an easy thing. So you don't need the exposure unit, and you're writing direct, so you've no print head to clog. Now, I don't know the reliability of the laser heads, the light heads. But
but they're not cheap to replace.
Well, they're guaranteed for 10,000 hours. So that can't be that bad.
No. That sounds awesome. See what I did there?
Oh,
See what I did there?
I did, but you were barking up wrong tree. But I did. I see what you did.
Oh, it was a good guess though, wasn't it?
We're close, yeah. We're close, yeah. In fact, I bet it's one you've not even heard of. So it sort of goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
It's amazing how many print shops that are real big deals, real big print shops that you never even heard of because we don't need to be.
No. So a lot of trade-only printers don't want to advertise.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know where they're getting the stuff from.
Yeah, no, I bet.
It's that close relationship. Well, yeah, we'll do your stuff, but we won't tell anybody you're doing your stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because they're trade-only, so they're only going to either other printers subbing out, or they're working very closely with someone who then sells to the end user, and the end user believes the middle guy is producing it for him.
Yeah. We get often asked, not often, but every now and again we'll get asked to be completely hush-hush about what we're printing. So a customer will put an order in and they're like, don't put it on your socials, don't tell anybody. I often get offended by that, because I want to be proud of
NDA
it.
for it.
I've never signed up because, to be honest, somebody once asked me, and I said, I don't really want the order. In a polite way, I didn't just say go away, but my stance on it is, I almost get offended because why don't you want people to know that I did it? I want to be proud of what I print for people.
Ah, right. From your point of view, yeah, you want to.
From my point of view,
you want bragging rights.
Not even. I guess it is bragging in a way, but it's more just proud of what I've produced. And we had this conversation last week. Most of my business comes from being able to show off what I do, social media and word of mouth. And if I can't show off what I do, that order, the value of it loses value.
You don't want to do it in secret, do you?
No. So I'm not a total snob about it. If people say, "Can you keep it off of Instagram or whatever?" I reluctantly do. But
I've got in trouble.
It hurts a bit
I've got
inside.
in trouble before for posting stuff that I shouldn't do.
Really? But did they bring it up prior?
No.
Or did you just? Yeah, you see, then I think it's a. See,
No.
I think post it and then get told off.
On two occasions, I've posted and got told off. On one occasion, I had to completely retract it. But
yeah, if you're insistent.
On another occasion, I got told that I need to take that down. I'm like, well, why? It's perfect. It was an example between discharge and HSA.
Right.
Just, it shows perfectly that the HSA is much brighter than the discharge, and I think it's a great representation. I can actually say this: the guy's gone bust. I can actually say it.
Right.
It was for Conor McGregor.
Oh, really?
An upcoming fight for Conor McGregor.
He's a bit of an arse, isn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't for him, but the printer that I did it for's gone bust, so I can actually say this now.
Right.
And I did the whole two pictures side by side, sort of showing how good HSA white was compared to discharge. And it looked lovely and everything. And then 2 days later, rings me up, said, "Tony, you need to take that off your website, off your Instagram." I said, "Why?" It's because the people who we do that Conor McGregor stuff for, they don't want anybody knowing that his fight is on that date, and the date was on the T-shirt.
Well, you see, that kind of makes sense. I understand that, because it's obviously if something's not being announced or whatever, that makes sense. But sometimes we get people who just want to keep it secret that we personally
that you've printed because they don't want anybody else to. They found a good printer and they want to keep it to themselves.
Yeah, it's a mentality I don't understand, but it definitely doesn't benefit me.
No, I know.
But it's just one of those, isn't it? It's I reluctantly do what they ask.
Back in the
but I do take offence to it though.
Back in the really, really, really early days, I had to sign an NDA with Speedo.
Right.
Because we were developing an ink that stuck to the...
Because there were some photos that were about to leak.
Some budgie smugglers inside. They were printing some... I don't know if they still do it or not now, but the competitive swimmers were wearing these all-in-one suits that made them really streamlined in the water.
All right.
So it sort of like went from the toes to the ankle to the wrists all the way through. But because it was so streamlined and so slippy in the water, no ink could stick to it. Because it was nearly all silicone. and I was developing an ink that would stick to it, so they could at least put the bleeding logo on it. Because they've got this fantastic suit that they designed, but they couldn't put the logo on it because nothing stick to it.
Yeah. I think our favourite water-based has just developed something for that specific purpose, and it sticks to. You get jackets with rain repellent, water repellent.
Yes, they have.
I'm pretty sure they've just made something for that job.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's for us or it's for a rotary industry.
I don't know. I just sort of saw it.
Yeah, I've seen it as well, but I've not actually dug into what it actually does. I just saw that it repels moisture, or it eats away at that moisture repelling layer that's on some fabrics.
All right, so it's sort of right. So where the image is, it takes the repellent off.
Yeah,
and then sits the ink on top. Right,
I think that's what it's for. But I like I said, I've seen as much as you. Just a quick flash in post and think, that's probably not for me.
Yeah, we got an email today off of a motorsport company, and the company works on behalf of the motorsport industry, arranging merchandise and also like racing apparel. And they was asking if we wanted to be one of their printers, and I had to sort of say, yeah, this sounds amazing, but I also had to say we can't touch anything like overalls, fireproofs, anything like that, because it'll have a coating on. It's not something we could print anyway, but just had to sort of stress, thanks so much for getting in touch, it sounds amazing, but our expertise is in cotton garments, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever. But yeah,
I've done fireproof stuff. I've done fireproof stuff before, and you can get fireproof thread to do embroidery with. And you can get fireproof transfers. So obviously you don't do them yourself. You get them from not fireproof, fire retardant. Transfers. I mean they're hell of expensive.
Yeah.
But you can buy them from the major transfer manufacturers that you know of, and because I've had to do them for racing drivers, number one.
Yeah.
And welders, believe it or not.
That makes sense.
People are dealing with fire all the time. And a little bit of rail workers and a few sort of fire service as well.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is, the first thing to go up in a flame is the word fire on some back of some other shirt. Printed by Danny.
That'd be just my look, that.
Yeah. So it is available. You can do it.
I'm seeing a lot of print shops who are using transfers more and more these days.
Is it transfers or DTF? I don't know which one it is.
I guess. Well, I'm going to say transfers in general. I think it looks to me like a lot of shops are outsourcing screen printed transfers.
Do they look super?
They look good. Yeah, they look good.
Okay. Are they colourful and the super?
Yeah, I can't think of any examples in my head that are particularly mega. I'm just thinking for certain jobs that are awkward, labelling certain garments with certain, I don't know, stretchy qualities or whatever.
Backneck
who
labels.
Wants to print it?
Backneck labels are quite easy to print though with plastisol, even with water based. They're not that difficult to print, but obviously it's much easier to get somebody else to do it.
Well, it's time. It's your how much is your time worth to make those transfers that you don't do on a day-to-day basis, compared to just outsourcing it.
Do you have a flatbed, a vacuum table?
I used to. I used to have one. I got rid of it. I got rid of it.
Because if you got one,
I got it for free as well.
Did you?
Somebody were chucking it in bin.
We call that stealing.
It was a sign company who had it for decades, and it was actually, the machine was probably from a company not far from you. It was a great vacuum bench, and they were just chucking it in bin. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what to do with it, and they had two, and I only had space for one, so I picked one up, and then I had it for a couple of years, and I did a few jobs on it, and then it was just taking up so much space. I just thought, I'm gonna flog it. So
did you have to drill all holes out when you used it?
Yeah, I got a tiny little
3mm drill, and
something like that. Yeah,
all the way through them.
And I had to get a couple of packs as well because I snapped a couple.
What a pain in the arse that is. I've done that so many times. It's like the worst job in the world because you think you've got it sush, you think you've got it awesome, you've got 2 drill bits left and ping, off it goes.
Yeah.
And putting the last drill bit in now, it better work.
There's a couple of drill bits still left in some of them holes. Whoever's got it might find a drill bit.
Little present from Flipping Sweet.
Yeah. Great fun though. Good fun, them benches.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Would you include one in your £1 million?
No. And you know why?
Do you want to think about it?
Because, like you said, that's an industry where digital's more cost effective.
Yeah.
You don't see many proper screen printed art posters nowadays for bands or whatever. You see it in the States. I've seen a few shops in the States, but you don't really see it in the UK.
No.
I can't think of any. I'm sure there is, but
so in your fantasy print shop then.
Okay, now we had a detour, haven't we?
Yeah, I'm used to you now.
I'll tell you what I would get.
We let you go for a little bit and then we just pull you back and we pull you back and then we just let you wander off again. It's like having a toddler on them reins. You know, you let them get to edge at road. You know, off you come back. Or a dog on an extended lead, I'm going to say.
It's a bit of a worry that my memory. If you would have asked me what we were talking about 10 minutes ago, I couldn't tell you.
No,
so,
but you remember
somehow
what we did last
you'll
week so that we don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Right. Ironically, I've completely forgot what your question was 3 seconds ago.
So in your fantasy print shop.
That was it. Fantasy print shop.
So we've got your auto, we've got your dryer.
We've pretty much gone ham on.
No,
on
you're
room,
only up to... So...
I mean, there can't be much else to stick in a screen room.
Well, to be fair, yeah, I think you've done your screen room. Your screen room's sort of awesome now. You've got your auto developer, auto coater. You've got your imaging device, which we're going to go for laser.
Yeah, laser.
So we're up to let's say we're up to 200 grand. So you've still got 800 grand to spend.
Yep.
We're going to come back to the press configuration, and the dryer.
Right.
So
well,
let's first of all dryer. Are you going to be doing water based or are you going to do plastisol?
I'm probably going to go back to water based with an auto.
So we need a big long 4 metre dryer.
We need a big old dryer.
Done. Okay.
Now, do you go gas or do you go electric these days?
Gas.
Because the price of electric's going so high, but then so is gas. It's like, which is most cost effective? I don't know.
I've been gas all the way. Gas. It gives a much better forced air effect on the print. I find it much easier to dry the water-based. I think it's much gentler on the fabrics. And I've always been a proponent of it. I've always supported it. I first got my first gas dryer. I was like, this is a game changer. Absolutely. This is definitely the only way to go forward. Forget those flash dryers just held over a moving belt, which is what electric was. But electric's caught up now, and electric's using forced air as well, rather than direct heat. So it's. I was at a place, and I said to them, look, I'm not being funny, but you need to upgrade your dryers to gas dryers because you've got these old electric little buddies and these old electric Panther dryers. And I'm like, they're going to be eating electric. Get some gas dryers in here, and honestly, your gas bill will half. He just turned around to me and said, absolutely not, never, no way, don't care. I went, what do you think you're getting a better result? He says, no, I couldn't give a toss about the result. I probably couldn't tell if it were gas or electric from the result of the print. But what it is, as a firm, we can't be seen to be using fossil fuels.
Right.
So what do you mean? Well, electric is a renewable energy source. So on our marketing, we tell everybody we use renewable energy to drive the shirts. I said, oh, right, that's really impressive. Have you got a wind farm in the car park? Have you got solar panels on the roof? Oh, no, none of that shit. No, we just get it from the grid.
Yeah.
I says, if you look in a straight line about 25 miles down, you can see those 3 chimneys. That's the power station that's burning coal to fire your dryers. You might as well have a coal-fired dryer. Oh. How would that look on your literature? I said, no matter. We're using renewable electricity.
It's just smoke and mirrors, isn't it?
Can you tell how much of that electricity you're using is renewable and how much is coming from the power station down the road? No, and I don't care. I just put on my literature that we are 100% renewable electricity, renewable energy. I went, wow,
Yeah.
okay, so does that mean now that gas has got a bad name? Is gas the dirty word? Because it's burning a non-renewable source of energy? You'd never thought of it, had you?
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, you'd not thought of it, had you?
Well, it's like the electric car conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not going to go down that dark
No,
alley.
that's not. Let's not.
That's
go on
a
that
dark
tangent,
alley. Yeah, that's an absolute no entry. We're not doing that one.
No, could upset some people again.
Yeah, it's not a challenge, Danny.
No. So we're settling on gas.
Sod
the hippies. We're having gas.
Are you going to have a digital head on your press?
Oh, well, you see, my instant gut reaction then was, no. But honestly, why not? I've got enough dosh.
You've got enough money.
Why not?
Money's not. Actually, you're probably running out of money now.
Yeah, to be fair. I don't think, you know what? I don't think I would. And even if the money was unlimited, personally, do I want to be in a shop that does everything? I mean, I'm going to need a lot of people to run all this gear. And even if money was no object, do I really want to do that realistically in my lifetime? Probably not.
Well, if you say money's no object, right, then that means that it's just you printing what you want, how you like it, in as much time as you want. So therefore, wouldn't you just love to be able to play with the digital side of it?
No.
Really?
No, I don't. No, I can see the production. I can see the value in production for those jobs, those 12, 15, 16 colour jobs or whatever, unlimited colours, where maybe it's a certain size run where you might want to use it. But I'd just stay away from them jobs. Or I'd do it. I think auto wise, I'd want, I don't know, maybe like a 12 colour, just not a just a nice 12 colour auto, just a.
You think 12 colour would do it for you?
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to go.
There are machine manufacturers writing down what you want, and you're going to be inundated with emails by tomorrow morning. You know that, don't you?
I know. I've got a couple of companies in my inbox now. I want to put their head in. I can't afford it. Chili boots.
Tell them the deal. The deal is, if they put one in, you'll talk about it every week on Flipping Sweet on
hell of a company.
Chippy Tee.
That green, blue, white one. Hell of a company. You say you're asking me how many flashes now?
How many flash units? Yeah. Because now the one thing you've got to understand when you go from a manual to an auto is you can't flash every colour.
No, well, this is what I was going to say. The technical aspect of how many flashes do I need, that's something that I don't entirely know the answer to, because I'm coming from a manual. Yeah, so this all changes now. Yeah, this all changes now, doesn't it?
This is a big deal for most manual printers when they step up to an auto, is they don't grasp the concept. Well, I can use any mesh, I can use any squeegee, and all I've got to do is make sure it looks good and then dry it. Looks good on one print and then dry it.
Because in my head,
I've got wet on wet printing to deal with now.
Yeah. Well, in my head, well, I only need one flash, and I'll just send it back round again. You know what I mean? I'll just send it back round. Print, background flash, print, background flash. Surely you could just set an auto to do that.
Yeah, it's called multi-print or revolver mode or.
But I guess the limitation is that severely slows it down, and when you've got an auto,
severely inefficient. It's not that it's slow; it's inefficient.
It's inefficient for a shop that has an auto is probably at a level that. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
If you want to go to an auto, your ideal dream situation is put a shirt on here.
Yep.
It goes round the machine once and takes off here. So there's 3 people, one putting them on, one taking them off, and one catching them and QCing them at end of dryer.
Yeah, sticking stickers on them.
So that's, on and off in one go. Now, all the machines have got a multi-print on them, and this multi-print allows you to go around the machine and use that one flash 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But when it's spinning on its own, just doing its own little thing, you're sat there just picking your arsehole, basically. Doing nothing, just watching it go around. And soon enough, you'll wander off, then it'll fuck up, and then you'll come back and go, who sold me this fucking auto? It's crap. So you've got to really, you're thinking about sound bites already, aren't you? How you can beep.
You'll wait for highlights.
So you've got to think about all these things. You know, if the reason to go to an auto, is it to just save your little forearms, or is it to print more shit and get more money so you can end up on your yacht in the Caribbean?
It's to save my forearms. I don't know if it makes me unambitious, because I don't feel like I'm unambitious. I feel like I'm a very driven, hard-working, motivated person. But I'm also got a level in my head that
you're content with.
That I'll be content with. And I don't think that doesn't make me ambitious. If I can be a small auto shop at the minute, in my head at the minute, that is my dream scenario.
How many staff would you have on this auto? I've just told you it takes 3 to run it efficiently. How many would you have?
If it takes 3 to run it efficiently, you see, I'm gonna. See, in my head, I'm saying, sod that, I just want to do it myself. But
I know, that's why
I guess we're going to have to reluctantly go with 3. As small as possible.
So if you still want to be a small auto shop, then the answer to that is 1, just you. And maybe somebody catching them on the dry, which you've probably got that now.
I'm going to say, it'd be a small team, like I've got now. Me, my sister, hopefully Jasmine sticks around for a bit, whatever. But it'll be something along these lines. A small little operation with an automatic churning out pretty reasonable quantities for a small team.
You're gonna have to go some, to pay for this fucking 400 grand's worth of pre-press that you've just ordered.
Yeah, well, you said I've got £1 million to play with. We're in fantasy land here. I'm not...
So if money was no object, wouldn't you go as big as possible? One of these 22 colour ovals with a digital head attached.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it with it, would I? I wouldn't do it with it. I wouldn't have a factory staffed, because I don't want the stress of that goes with it. I have no ambition to do that.
You could overtake Brid Seafront with funny t-shirts. My mum and dad went to Brid and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
You see, you're joking about that, but the sick thing is I've literally just done some Brid shirts. So.
I hope they were classier than that. They weren't the old classic that this is why I don't wear shorts. An old geezer with his testicle hanging out, were they?
No, not quite that bad. It was a throwback to an 80s shirt that used to get on Brid Seafront. We replicated it. But anyway, yeah.
Copied is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, which
ripped off.
Yeah, but whoever invented it's not around to
it wasn't the old geezers in the swimsuits or in the bathing suits. Oh no, that's I think that's Filey, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that'll be Filey. You see about old postcards and that, don't you?
The old postcards, the funny postcards, yeah. So you could bring them back, you see, and just do 1s and 2s.
I actually think, oh god, I'm going on tangent. I catch myself doing it sometimes, but I can't do it because I can't stop because it's in my head now.
I push you down these roads. Eventually, you'll understand. I push you down these roads. Oh, God. Funny postcards. That's where you were going.
Funny postcards. So I've had this thought a few times. Have I missed a trick in my branding as a business by not having more coastal elements and not pushing the fact that we're a coastal business?
100%.
Because it's a cool little novel thing, isn't it? And yeah. I just see things like, like if you get a stick of rock and you cut it in half. Well, you don't cut it in half, do you? You snap it in half, and you can see the text in it. I thought, wouldn't my logo look cool like that? If it was just like the front of a stick of rock with flipping sweet in it. You know what I mean? Little silly things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. If I were where you are, I'd take full advantage of that and push it to death. Your location's quite unique. I know, me being a Wessie, that I've got a darker opinion of Brid than you have. It's usually caravans and all free beer all day. But
we have got a surplus of two things: charity shops and hairdressers.
What?
And
Shops?
I'm talking about old people hairdressers.
Charity
shops.
Oh, charity shops. Yeah.
Charity shops and hairdressers. That's like Brid in a nutshell. We've got hundreds.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of old people in there.
That's what it's for, yeah. It's for pensioners.
It
For
must be
retired
changing.
Wesses.
It must be changing. Retired Wesses. It must be changing a bit now.
Well, there's a few Wesses who have set up little businesses, and we try to make an effort, but
Yeah.
it's a tough crowd.
I'd been marketing it to death, the fact that you were at the coast, I mean, I know you're at coast because there's always seagulls in your podcast.
I'm going to say.
I think you must have shut the window because I can't hear the seagulls. So.
I actually have, because in last episode you mentioned it, and I thought, because I had to, a little secret, the last episode we had to edit it out, but I ran and shut my window because I were bleeding tambourine man walking down the street or something.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm not going to risk it on this episode.
It's just local smackhead.
Yeah, it probably is.
Randomly playing a tambourine as he walks down Bridge Street.
Well, my shop is basically on Drug Dealer Alley, so it probably will.
Nice. Top. So yeah, I'd definitely market it to death. I'd have the boats in the harbour. I'd have the seafront. I'd have the. That's it. I've run out of good stuff to say about Bridge.
That was it, really, wasn't it? That was it. Yeah, you missed the best bit: fish and chips.
Fish and chips, Chippy Tee. Get that for a link.
There you
Chippy
go.
Tee. Yeah. So I'd
if I have a little
market
brand
to
refresh.
Yeah.
You never know. I might have a brand refresh one day, and that'll might play a bit more of a part.
Where did you come up with Flipping Sweet?
Oh, somebody asked me this story. Oh, that other podcast asked me. I couldn't give him a very good answer, to be honest, because
You don't mean one of my previous episodes that I've forgotten about, do you?
no, not one of ours. But you know the podcast that everybody absolutely loves.
Yeah.
It was on that one.
Oh,
It was
the
on
3 hour
Shirt Show.
one.
Yeah, it was on Shirt Show.
I can't.
They asked me.
Yeah, I'm struggling to listen to it. I listened to a bit of it, but I did do 3 hours.
Yeah, it was a long episode. That a long episode for two blokes to talk to me who couldn't even understand what I was saying.
Okay. Did you put on an accent?
I tried to posh it down a bit.
Did you?
Tried to sort of I had to practice for the week building up to that episode. I was proper practicing, talking to Jade and stuff out shop, slowing what I'm saying down, and you know what I mean.
Good for you.
I was dead anxious about it, but anyway. Shit, what was I saying?
Where did your name come from?
Oh yeah, that was it. Anyway, in a nutshell, I'm pretty sure it was just like in a dream, and that's such a fucking such a funny thing to say, because it's like, oh, what a cliche. But honest to God, I knew I was going to set up this clothing business.
Came to you in a dream.
And I was just daydreaming it, not daydreaming, actual night dreaming. I was night dreaming in my head what business I was going to set up, and that's what I called it in my dream.
And t-shirts came to the forefront.
Yeah, well, at the time,
You've been doing some substance abuse, mate.
I'm saying out. I'm getting my lawyers involved for that conversation. Yeah,
So
it's
it came to you in a dream.
Honestly, it sounds
What
like
were
a
your previous?
I swear.
You said that you started and you went big and you got your big shop front and stuff. Were you still called Flipping Sweet then?
Yeah. Flipping Sweet. It started as Flipping Sweet. So Flipping Sweet was just a name for the novel t-shirts that we were ripping off at the time. I tell you what, let me clarify something as well, because in the first episode, I basically admitted to being a bootlegger, and I sort of confessed that I used to rip off bands like Metallica and Jack Daniels and stuff like that.
Allegedly.
But I want to just clarify that I didn't entirely rip them off. So, using Metallica as an example, I would offer the Metallica font, and I would offer, so you would come to me with your band name or your grandma's name or whatever you want, and I would print your grandma's name in the Metallica font on a t-shirt.
Rose Pearl.
Yeah, Rose Pearl. That sounds more like a porn star, that.
In the Metallica font.
Right. And so I was doing
That's your next tattoo sorted.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to stick on them hoodies. Rolls Pearl. So I want a complete rip-off artist, but...
You have been in touch with some sort of legal firm to come out with that 4 episodes in, haven't you?
I'm sweating it a bit, that's why.
Right, okay, so it came to you in a dream. All right.
It came to us in a dream, that was it.
Yeah, we're done with that bit now.
What made you come up with the name Palm Print?
I really like tropical trees.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, tropical trees really fascinate me. So I thought, I know, I'm going to name my company after those.
Hey, I'll tell you something as well. Fun fact, fun tangent. At the time, it might have been just after living in Cass. Tropical. You'll remember this. There was a bit of a trend and a surge of palm trees and tropical plants, yucca trees, all of a sudden in UK, and I think it was like sort of early 2000s, late 90s, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a big warehouse in Cass, and I'm pretty sure the first bloke to do it, it was this bloke in Cass who had imported all these palm trees for next to nothing, and then he was like selling them, obviously, and then all of a sudden, you see him everywhere now. Everybody's got some sort of palm tree in the garden, haven't they?
Yeah, some sort of throwback, yeah, from when, this will be good, let's plant this tree that's going to be there for the next 50 years.
Well, we've got the climate for it now, haven't we?
So, only on 3 days.
They'll finally, yeah, I suppose. They'll thrive for 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best investment in the world, is it? To wait 20 years for 3 days of sunshine. Yeah. Welcome to England.
Have we got time for
one of your shop hacks?
No, not a shop hack.
Or a top tip?
I wanted to. No, not a top tip either. I was going to ask you, referring back to your experience in and out of tons of shops of varying levels. How important do you think it is as a print shop to have a niche? And what I mean by that is, should you specialise in something? And now I see quite a lot of print shops, and the successful ones, they seem to have a certain customer, whether it's bands or whether it's like they're in the automotive industry or whatever. They've got a niche, or they've gone down the line of we are totally eco-friendly and that's their niche. And I guess I was just thinking to myself, what's my niche? What is it that sets me apart from everybody else? And I haven't come up with an answer to that.
It's quite a broad
and
subject.
Does it matter?
Yeah, I think it does. It's a broad subject matter, and it can be really summarised into specialise or generalise.
Yeah.
Which one do you go for? My opinion is the same as you. Looking at these successful people, they seem to have that click, that niche that they do. Yeah. And if you strip it right back and you get rid of all the Instagram reels and you actually see the bare bones of it, what you come down to is what makes me different to other people. Not different so that I want to be special, but how can I get away with charging more for doing the same shit? So I'll give you a for instance. I've got a customer who charges more because their service is off the scale.
Yeah.
Their print is the same as everybody else's, or within the same region, and they are printing the same product as another printer down the road, and they share the same customer, exactly the same customer, or a big agency that gives work out to about 10 printers across the UK, and so with these two printers, they're competing for the same work, and on paper it's sort of like, right, well we'll do it for 20p, we'll do it for 25p. We'll do it for 15p. And in the end, it's like everybody loses. So what it comes down to is we'll do it for £1.
Yeah.
And the customer's like, well, why should I pay £1 when Bobby down the road, he'll do it for 50p? Because we'll give you the best service. We'll tell you where the job is throughout the order. You can dial into our ERP system and see it getting developed. You can link into a live camera and watch it getting produced if you want. We'll be with you 100% all the way. We'll support. Yeah. We'll deal with your customer. That service is going to cost you extra money.
Yeah.
And if you've got a good relationship with the customer, they'll pay it. Then on the other hand, you've got the guys who will. This is a recent one, and I still find it hard to believe, but it's the one I've been to this week. Their specialist, their niche is, look, we'll do the same print as everybody else. We'll do it for round about the same sort of ballpark figure, but to guarantee we get the work, we'll do a 24-hour turnaround.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And so you pick your sort of niche. I've got other companies that I've got a company within Yorkshire, in South Yorkshire, and their niche is quality. So look, we will print the best quality you've ever seen on this item, and we can guarantee you, because we'll go slow. We'll make sure everything's good. We've bought the best of everything. We've actually bought everything that's on your fantasy list.
Right.
And we'll make sure that the products we sell, we're going to charge £2 for. Yeah. Like, hang on, I can get them from Bobby down the road for 50p. Why should I come to you for £2? Well, this is why. Either we give you the fantastic service, or we give you the fast turnaround, or we give you the high quality. So I think finding that niche and finding what makes you different to everybody else is important. As for finding your niche to print for somebody, like the racing driver.
Yeah.
I think that's important, but there's a massive but. It must also be your passion.
Yeah, this is the idea. Yeah, I can see where that comes from. Yeah,
I know
the people I have in mind.
Yeah, I know people.
It's just what they're into.
Who have tried to get into a certain market. I'll give you this is not a real example, but I'll give you a for example. A 55-year-old bloke comes to work in a grey suit every day, drives his little Volvo. He is absolutely Mr. Average, John Major type, yeah?
Yeah.
And he realises that the print shop down the road is doing really, really well out of a Paradise Lost sort of death metal group that's come out. And so wants to get in on that act and says, they're selling tens of thousands of shirts. We should be selling death metal shirts.
Yeah.
He's never going to sell the death metal shirts, because no matter how hard he tries, he's not going to live and breathe it. The print shop in Leeds that is very successful.
Yeah.
The owner of that print shop used to go to gigs every day, every night. That was his passion. He was into that whole scene, that scenario, that group. He lived and breathed it. He would have printed the shirts for free because he just loved the environment. I've got the tattoo guys are the same now. They love the tattoo scene, and they live and breathe it. They go to the conventions. They're covered in every tattoo you can possibly imagine, because they live and breathe it, and then that transfers onto their t-shirts and that they sell. Yeah. So if you're going to go to a specialist subject, if you like, if you're on Mastermind, then it has to be one that you have a passion for, a real passion. You can't make it up. But if you're going to go for something that you can offer, then it has to be something that will bring value, like service, turnaround, quality. And specialise in one of those.
I guess it was two questions, really, wasn't it? I guess you've got, like you said, the service side of things, the service and quality, and then a niche audience. So I guess that was kind of two questions rolled into one, really, wasn't it?
It were a podcast, that. You've just blown it.
If I was, I don't... Yeah, shall we just cut that bit out?
You've blown it. Now we're going to have to go back to talking about the weather on episode 6.
I'd be pissing it down by then.
It is today, for fuck's... I'm swearing too much. So I
loved how quickly he was like... stumbled on that.
Well, you're not that good at editing, I know, so I've got to,
Well, I just enjoy it. I just enjoy to listen to it, so I leave it on purpose.
I know, I wonder if we get told off for it yet.
I don't know, because I've not put like an age rating on it, so maybe something. Anyway, that's a a couple of things you did. It sort of resonated with me. A couple of things you said there. The service quality being your, putting your price up because you offer such a efficient service.
But telling
and the
people
way
why.
It's almost tracked.
Telling people why.
That. Yeah. The way it's...
Why are you more expensive, Danny? Because we go out of our way to do this. Jasmine will bring you up at 10 o'clock every morning and give you a full report of where your order is and if there's any problems with it. And whatever problems there are, we've solved for you, and we'll keep you up. Whatever it is that sets you apart, tell your customer why they're paying that much. And in the grand scheme of things, they will pay it. They'll pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
As long as they can see what they're paying for.
I think the main issue, if there's ever a time where, and you have ups and downs, and the majority of the time things run smoothly for me, but you have those moments where things get a bit on top and it gets a bit stressy and you're pushing it on deadlines, or you may be even missing deadlines. The number one thing that pisses that customer off is not that you miss a deadline, it's that you didn't keep them updated throughout.
You didn't tell them,
yeah. And this was one of the things that I'd got Jasmine on board for when Jasmine came about, just having her update customers throughout the process. But I've even looked into automating it. So I've mentioned the fact we've got Monday. Yeah. There is a way to add automations. So if I say, let's just say I've just exposed the screens for that job, I can tick that off on my list. All right, they're exposed now. Yeah. If I could automate it so that triggers an email to customer and says,
it's easy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So little things like that, you can make such a difference. I'm sure it does.
It does, definitely, yeah. It's worth doing. Because that's what sets you apart then. And then once you are apart from the crowd, then, you can start to say to people, look, I'm more expensive than other people. Because I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold your hand all the way through this process because I know you've never ordered T-shirts before. And I know it's a bit scary, but that's what we're here for. And we're going to do this, and this along the way. And that's why my T-shirts are a tenner and Bobby down the road's a £4.50.
I think the thing that resonates with our customer, and the only reason I can say this is because
you keep saying resonate.
They tell us.
Is that your new word?
I've said it more than once.
Yeah,
I thought first time I pulled that one out.
I think we're doing a word for the day. I think we're doing.
Well, I'm going to check. That'll have to be title the episode now. Oh, God.
It's going on a T-shirt in Metallica font, resin, and then the number 8.
Oh, jeez.
Go on.
Throw me off now.
I know,
put me off. What resonates? What resonates with my customers, and I only know this because they do tell me, not all the time, but every now and again it's been brought up. It's the personable approach that we have with them. Now I don't know if that's got a monetary value. I don't know if I can stick 50p on it, but we often get complimented on it, and I guess you'll email me or Jasmine and there's no corporate, I don't know, lingo or whatever in between you. You're not talking to, you're not just talking to someone at the end of a system, logging it in and whatever. You're just talking to me or Jasmine.
Yeah.
And
that sets you apart. You see, you're talking to the real person, and that's part of also Yorkshire charm. That what you see is what you get.
The old Yorkshire charm.
Warts and all. Yeah.
Yeah. Something to think about. But as far as a target audience, it's always been something that's I've said often through the years. I never get bands, never get bands, and I guess it's like you say, the guys who are getting the orders from bands,
they're living
going
the
to
band
gigs.
Life. Yeah,
they're living that life.
They're living the band life. The rubbing shoulders, the socialising with the people who are in the band, and they might be sat at the bar with them. Oh yeah, we've got to get some T-shirts done. Oh, do you know anywhere? Yeah. Well, I think I've seen online, and then you pop up and go, well, actually, I could print a T-shirt. Yeah,
that's exactly it. But I guess what that says about me is I'm just a very generic person.
You don't go out much, yeah. you don't get out a lot, bless him.
That's what it is.
But think about something. I mean, and I know there's some of the stuff you're interested in. Move into that circle. You'll find that it's there's still a requirement for printing there. And then once you get into that, then
But I don't want to close doors on anything.
No. But find a passion.
Finding
your passion. And if it's Granny Dwarf porn, then so be it. Whatever it is that floats.
It's definitely a niche. That's as niche as it gets. That you couldn't have refined that many more, could you? Bloody no.
Sorry, but I have been able to see your search history for quite a
Oh,
while
well.
now. So.
Well, that's a worry. Jasmine can use this computer as well. Oh, dear. That might have been Jasmine, not me.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. Yeah.
I'm getting my lawyer back out.
It's going to be busy after this, isn't it?
Yeah, Christ.
He's already made you do a retraction.
We upset Gildan last week, and now we're upsetting Dwarfs this week.
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose. Right, I think we've sort of. I think we can revisit a couple of these topics, and I think
Maybe so.
I think next episode we're going to have to come back to maybe the fantasy print shop thing might be a good idea.
Yeah. There's a few bits I've not
I
spent.
think we can
yet.
come back to that, and certainly the niche market. I want to see where your niche market goes.
Yeah, I'll leave it in my list.
Yeah,
My mental list that's in my head that's not.
mental, not written down, totally unscripted, made up as we go along.
And then we'll retouch on them at a later date.
I don't have to push that fact anymore. It's bleeding obvious to anybody that listens. We ain't got a clue where we're going with these things when we set off. Jesus, like getting a car to go to Blackpool and ending up in Hull.
Oh, I know. Oh, I. That's all you need, isn't it? It's the same. The people listening probably get that same gutting feeling as well.
Both of them are.
Yeah. Hey, 5 episodes. Is that like an anniversary? Or shall we wait till we got to a round number 10?
I think we
if we make it to 10.
If we get to 10 and we're still going strong as we are, then yeah, we'll have a little party.
If we get to 10, we'll make an Instagram.
We'll do a video, yeah.
Oh, God, why do you say that? Do you know the thing with video is, I can't edit video without it being obvious. But every time we fart and burp and cough and stumble on his words and excessively swear, I can edit that out in audio. But in video, you'll just see the frames. It'll be like, why has he moved?
Headroom, won't it?
Yeah, that'll be
just
it.
Jumping. Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, well. Practice. We're getting better.
Absolutely. Right, so I'm going to wrap that up, Danny. I think we've had a good hour on that. So thank you very much for listening. This has been episode 5 of Chippy Tee with me, Tony Palmer, and
Danny D, fun flipping sweet.
Oh, you built that, haven't you?
I'm getting a bit big for my boots now, aren't I?
Yeah, we'll bring you down next week, don't you worry. Right, so thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next time. I'll see thee.
Ta-da.